Good evening, and welcome to another World of Warships video with Captain Darkwing Glacier. In this video, I am taking out my USS Flint, which I earned from achieving rank 1 in 3 seasons of ranked battles. It turns out to be one of my favorite ships. I love the fact that it has smoke, and otherwise it is very similar to my USS Atlanta, which I bought a while ago. So we are in Tier 7 matchmaking, and I start off the game by complaining in chat that I chose hydroacoustic search instead of defensive fire for my Flint, and of course this battle turns out that there are some carriers. So I've been switching off back and forth between my Atlanta, which is completely AA spec'd, and after coming off on the wrong end of an enemy carrier in my Flint, I decided to give it defensive fire for a while, and then naturally, I did not have any battles with carriers, so I switched it back to hydroacoustic search, which allowed me to spot enemy torpedoes while I'm hiding in my smoke. And what happens? The first battle I go back to hydroacoustic search, we end up in a battle with carriers. So in any event, I'm following my Farragut into the A cap, so I intend on supporting him. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slow down behind this island and see if I can start harassing this Omaha, which is now in range. And my Farragut fortunately actually lays down some smoke, so either he is doing that for himself, or maybe he decided he's going to aid me a little bit. So I decided I'm just going to mosey on forward and continue providing support. I do notice that there is an enemy DD going into the cap. It's a Hatsuharu, so I'm going to have to watch out for his torpedoes. And I start targeting him immediately, but the problem is I'm already too close to the island, so I change targets over to the Omaha while I accelerate forward to get into the smoke so I can get a bead on the Hatsuharu, because he is the primary threat. The Omaha is already turning away. So I kick off my hydro, and right away it spots the Hatsuharu's torpedoes. He's slowing down. It looks like his engine was taken out. He looks like he's smoking up, and I've already lost him. And we just lost our Farragut. So now I am firing blindly into the smoke in the hopes of hitting this guy. Fortunately, I'm not detected either, and what do you know, I get a lucky hit, and I'm able to kill the Hatsuharu. So I have a York and I have a Pensacola along here with me, and there are 3 battleships behind that are making their way rather slowly in this direction. But the cap is open because the Omaha is actually leaving the area, and I'm guessing that the Shores is not going to come plowing in, so I decided I'm going to take the cap myself. So far I've been making use of the Farragut smoke. The Hatsuharu's smoke is still there, and I have my own smoke if necessary, so I should be able to get in the cap pretty much with impunity and not have to worry about the enemy unless some enemy planes fly over, and even if they do, as long as I stay in smoke, I'll be fine. I predict that the Shores is going to come to the eastern side of that island, so I decided to launch some torpedoes and try to avoid the wreck of the Hatsuharu on the way. And some enemy planes start flying nearby, and my AA automatically goes off, so I decided I'm going to pop some smoke just to make sure. And it looks like the Shores is actually going to the other side of the island and turning away. So I should be able to get the cap without any problems at all. But my torpedoes are essentially wasted, but that's okay. So on the other side of the map, it looks like the enemy King George V is going to take the B cap unopposed, and looks like we outnumber the enemy at the C cap with 4 ships to their 3, so things are pretty much well in hand there. There is an enemy Cleveland approaching, and as I push forward out of my smoke, he spots me, and I also come under fire from, looks like either the Omaha or the Shores. I lose my front turret, and I realize that my best defense at this point is to get forward as I can and close to this island at the bottom of A, and hopefully I will no longer be detected. So it looks like I've finally gotten out of their fire, and my smoke is essentially wasted at this point. And then I look to the north, and I see that I have my 2 cruisers and I have my 3 battleships, and they're all just kind of gathering north of A. I mean, we outnumber them down here. They should be pushing to support me, and I ask in chat, are you guys going to come up and help, or are you just going to sit back there? So now the Shores is trying to flank me, and he is shooting me, and he's got the angle on me. I'm showing a lot of broadside here, which is pretty dangerous. I launched some torpedoes to hopefully get him to turn away again, and I'm going to try to hug this island as close as humanly possible. So finally I'm not detected anymore. There's a Normandy who's only 5 kilometers away, and it looks like he's coming right up the pipe. So I need to be really careful about this guy. Unfortunately, since I just launched my starboard torpedoes, I can't just kind of edge forward and torpedo him as he comes north. So I'm kind of stuck between literally a rock and a hard place at this point, because if I get out of cover, I'm just going to get focused down and killed very quickly. So my team claims that they're coming forward, but they're still kind of hanging back there, and I'm awfully close to the enemy. The Shores is getting really close to getting a beat on me again. It looks like he just took a big hit, which is good, so that means my team is actually assisting me at this point. And fortunately, it looks like the Normandy actually turned left, so he did not come up where he could basically have killed me at close range. So very fortunately for me, he's now hiding on the other side of the island and unable to hurt me. Of course, I'm still in a very precarious position because now the Cleveland is advancing. There's a Congo there too. The Shores is also advancing. My teammates are kind of kiting. It looks like the Koenig and the York both went east, so we cannot count on them for help right now because they're facing someone else. So now I'm trying to line up on the Cleveland as he's advancing and fire some torpedoes. Maybe I can catch him by surprise. And I'm going to start shooting at the Congo. He is not looking at me right now, so I can do some damage, and you can kind of see right at the bottom of the screen there the Normandy's stern sticking out from behind the island. So I'm able to do some good damage to the Congo, enough to get him to start turning away. I set a fire on him, and he's turning away. Now none of his main guns are pointing in my direction, so that's very beneficial to me. And at this point I realize, oh yeah, I still have smoke. So as long as he's spotted by somebody else, I can just shoot at him all day and hopefully do lots of damage to him. So I set another fire on him. That's fire number 2. And I can only imagine that this Congo player is not very happy at what's transgressing to him right now. He tries to shoot at me with his rear turrets and shoots a little high, so he's unable to hit me. The Normandy, you'll note, is 2.1 kilometers away, so if I was any closer to him, he would detect me, smoke or no smoke, and then this Congo would be able to shoot me. But fortunately, I'm just barely beyond that critical 2-kilometer range, and that means I can just fire all day at this Congo. Set another fire on him, but his return fire is actually on target this time, and it almost kills me. In the meantime, I'm shooting down lots of spotter planes. And it looks like the enemy Cleveland and the enemy Shores have both been taken out. The Normandy is still there, but the enemy Congo is desperately trying to get out of range of my guns. I set another fire. And he fires at me again, but fortunately I'm behind the rock, so most of his shells either hit the rock or go overhead. But I'm detected now because I'm too close to the Normandy, but I'm hoping maybe I can kill this Congo before he fires again. At this point I decide I'm just going to go for broke. See if I can get this Normandy and torpedo him from behind. And there goes the Congo. And the Normandy has to sense his danger by this point. The secondaries are opening up. I fire my torpedoes at close range, and I start shooting at him. His rear turret is slowly turning in my direction, but I don't think there's any way it's going to turn in time. And my torpedoes connect, and I get the kill, and that ends the game. So that was a pretty scary at the beginning, but it all worked out in the end. So I end up getting 3 kills, arsonist, devastating strike, first place on the team. That was a pretty fun game, so thank you very much for watching.